Coach, how you doing, Coach? Coach, I'll die for you, Coach. I just want you to believe in me. I just want you to believe in me. Let's go to the Lions.
And they basically told me if I'm there, it's a possibility they're going to take me. So I had my phone right next to me, ringer on all the way up. Kept checking it, I was nervous, but when I got that call, it was just, I don't even know how to describe it, the feeling.
The Lions take one of my favorite players in this draft class, Isaac TeSlaa out of Arkansas. I'm giving this an A+. Almost 6'4", 214 pounds, ran a 4.43 in the combine.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live Victory Monday Show Edition. And let me tell you, if we came into yesterday's game having any kind of thoughts about, maybe this offense isn't what it once was, maybe the offensive line perhaps isn't as good as it was a season ago, Jameson Williams, and maybe all he can do is be a decoy. Gibbs, Montgomery, have they kind of forgotten their ways? Whatever you want to say, here's what we can say is at least here today, that Lions offense looked pretty dang good yesterday. With that also being said, we talked about it during the live cast yesterday. We talked about it in the post-game show, and now you have more and more reports coming out kind of confirming what we all anticipated, that the Detroit Lions offensive in-game calls weren't coming from John Morton. They may have just indeed be coming from Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell did kind of address it, talked about it in the locker room a little bit. You saw the video of it. And then, yes, obviously when he did his post-game presser, we're going to dive into what this means going forward because you do have a lot of layers to this thing. John Morton, I would say this, he's not out of town. He's not getting shipped out to, somewhere else or being cut and released from the team. There are going to be a whole lot of nuances that add to this. And maybe, talking as a coach here, maybe this makes John Morton's role with the team even more pronounced, maybe even stronger. Maybe he can get back to what he's good at or a little bit more experienced at. Maybe Dan Campbell can take this offense to a whole nother level. We'll dive into that momentarily during the main top of the day. You guys probably know before we get into that, we're going to have the 5 headlines now. We're going to talk to the Dew Crew comments section. All things will be revealed today. Before we get into any of that, though, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that march for 15,600 subs, and we're just 42 subs away from it. So if you can assist with that, that would be awesome. Also, if you have a half second of time, it's free of charge, doesn't cost you even a dime. Reach on over, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 2, 3, 400 more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. Been in the industry for over 30 years, so if you want somebody who's going to watchdog your back, make sure nobody overcharges you, make sure you don't fall into any proverbial traps or whatever. This can be for vacant land, commercial property, farming property, new home, an old home, whatever it is, anything to do with real estate, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text, and we'll go from there. With that all done said, hey, it's Victory Monday. We got a whole lot of stuff to dive into, so let's get this show rocking, rolling, G.I. Joe going, and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, let's get to the first of the 5 headlines now. Commanders have no answer for Jahmyr Gibbs' electricity. A sideline report, Ryan Flower penned this one. Here's what we know. There was a big debate coming into this year. Would the Lions give Gibbs more touches? Would Dave Montgomery still be the starting back? What we know this far in is Gibbs is the starting back, and you know what? It's just hard to deny the fact that he may be the best running back in the NFL right now. If he's not the best, he is amongst the very few at the top of the list. Dave Montgomery is an outstanding NFL running back, but Gibbs might just be a whole nother level. Gibbs set to Man, he ate up. How about that? The Commanders defense early, often, repeatedly through the air, on the ground. The only thing he didn't do was sell, I don't know, nachos and Mountain Dews in the stands because he was used as a wide receiver. He did, actually, when I went back and rewatched tape, he lined up in the tight end position a couple times. Obviously, he's a running back, but I think what you're seeing the last 2 weeks, whether it's MCDC calling the plays or John Morton, the Lions are finding more ways to get Montgomery and Gibbs on the field at the same time. And why wouldn't you? They're both outstanding players. The Lions are blessed to have a ton of just phenomenal, skilled positional players. Getting back to Gibbs, though, you guys all watched the game yesterday. He had the 44-yard burst. He had catches for touchdowns, runs for touchdowns. He blocked and helped out on other touchdowns. Whatever you want to say, he is a complete back. There's nothing he can't do. He's, I think, easily going to be considered the best running back Detroit's had since the Hall of Famer that is Barry Sanders. Sanders, anybody who remembered watching him, hard to bring down, could shift gears, explosively fast, just incredibly hard to catch. And you see a lot of that same similarity with Gibbs. While they're different running backs, they're both equally powerful, strong, game-changing running backs. I would like to compare him to Jamal Charles. Some of you guys will know who that is. Just maybe the fastest guy in the field 99% of the time. What we know is the Lions are finding more creative ways to get Gibbs involved in the offense. Again, you saw him last week as a wide receiver. You've seen him yesterday as a wide receiver, and I think we're going to continue as this season goes forward in the second half as we get ready to make a push for hopefully the NFC North title, let alone strong seeding in the playoffs and the playoffs themselves. You're probably going to see more of that. If you go back and watch the greatest show on turf, the early 2000s, late 90s, St. Louis Rams at that time, you've seen Marshall Faulk used in a lot of similar situations. And I think the Lions, whoever's calling the plays, are basically trying to replicate some of that. Gibbs, I think we're just starting to scratch the surface with him. I don't think we're done seeing him evolve as a player because when you put him out there, you get a lot of mismatches from the other team, from the defense. If they put him out at receiver or tight end or whatever, and you assign a linebacker to him, you know what? That linebacker is probably not going to do so well. If you put a cornerback or a safety on him, they are going to motion him into the backfield. You know what? That's one less bigger body to help stop him at the line of scrimmage. I think while Dave Montgomery ended up with about 75 or so yards and about the same amount of carries yesterday, we understand some of that was late in the game. The game was over. But I also think the Lions are showing you they're going to try to get both guys on the field at the same time, at least to a certain percentage of it. All right, Lions wide receiver sucker punched by Commanders. Defensive lineman Deron Payne, SI.com, story by John Macron. You guys watched it during the game. We didn't see it, or at least I didn't see it initially what happened, but give Fox some credit. They did rewind it. They showed everybody there. For those who didn't see it, let me see if I can bring this up on the screen, and hopefully YouTube doesn't yell at me about it. All right, there we go. All right, that's 1, 2, and let's let it play. You can see it. You can hear it. That's probably about as good as I'm going to make it for you guys, but I'll play it one more time. And yes, you can see all of a sudden St. Brown takes a haymaker to the face. Why that went down, we don't fully know, and it's probably going to ultimately come down to he said, she said. What we do know is there was a stretch there where the Commanders just seemed like every play that happened, somebody from their team was upset about somebody else with Detroit. You saw Dan Skipper getting yelled at. You seen officials getting bumped. And throughout the game, there was a kind of a heated exchange between both teams. Lions, thankfully, did not respond. And I know after what happened with Brian Branch a few weeks ago against the Kansas City Chiefs, that's probably going to be on Lions fans and maybe NFL fans' minds for a while that the Lions and Branch are going to respond. Brian Branch, though, stayed away from it all. Lions stayed away from it all. They let people make mistakes. There's a great quote I'd like to use from Napoleon Bonaparte, if you guys know who he was in history. When your enemies are making mistakes, don't interrupt them. Let them keep making mistakes. And that's what the Commanders did. The Commanders had an opportunity, I felt, in the game to at least stay relevant on the scoreboard, but they kept shooting themselves in the foot. The punch there is just further examples of it. And again, if you wanted to watch really the second quarter and the third quarter, Commanders just kind of lost it emotionally, mentally. Payne, why ever he decided to punch him, St. Brown that is, throw a punch at St. Brown, I don't fully know. We'll probably find out more throughout the week. If you guys do happen to know, I guess throw it in the comment section, and we'll go from there. All right, next of the 5 headlines now. Speculation swirls that Dan Campbell is calling the plays for the Lions. NBC Sports, Mike Florio with this one. And I think a lot of people, different people after the show, after the game yesterday talked about this, but you knew early in the game something was different. Why is that? Well, Dan Campbell's wearing glasses. Dan Campbell's got a play sheet in front of him. Are these things, and we talked about it during the game yesterday, are these things you've seen at all this year? How about last year? How about the year before that? You get the point. Something was different, and then Dan Campbell did address it after the game. He said, hey, we're just, we wanted to work, and I'm paraphrasing here, as a collective coaching staff, come up with some things different, try some stuff differently. Now, there's some good and maybe potentially some bad out of that. The good is you catch teams off guard. Dan Campbell is going to call a game differently than I'm going to call the game. Different than, I don't know, Bo Booth's going to call the game. James Allen's going to call the game. You guys get it in the comment section. You take over the offense, you're going to have different tendencies than the person who called it the game before. John Morton has tendencies. That's what every team knew and could, scout for going into this game. Dan Campbell was the unknown wild factor in it. So you know what? He caught the Commanders completely off guard. It could be why things look so good. Could be that Dan Campbell's just good at things. We'll find out probably more information next week against Philadelphia. Why? Philly's going to have at least one game to kind of review and find out Dan Campbell's normalities, tendencies, etc. What we also know from Dan Campbell is that he said that, hey, John Morton is still a big part of this offense. He's doing a bunch of stuff. He was communicating with MCDC throughout the game. Him and other coaches, not just John Morton, were communicating, setting up plays, setting up ideas, seeing where they could figure things out. I've coached, this is going to be my 37th year, and here's what I can say. When you get everybody coaching to their strengths, playing to their strengths, you're probably better for it. MCDC may just simply be a better in-game adjuster than John Morton. John Morton, we talked about it. We kind of roasted him for about a week or two now. Here's what I'd say. I think he kind of became predictable and pre-snap did not do a lot. I'm not going to beat this up. You guys have heard me say it before. Did not do a lot to kind of tip the defense's hand, what they're in, and put them in a bad situation. I thought the Lions yesterday, and if you go back and watch Dan Campbell, if you want to rewatch yesterday's game, he does a whole lot to confuse the Commanders, help them reveal what they're going to do, and because of that, the Lions had one of the most explosive games in NFL history when it came to total offense. I mean, you have a quarterback who was nearly perfect, over 300 yards. You have, two running backs almost get 100 yards each. One running back get nearly 200 yards in total offense. Jameson Williams obviously went off, and then you had about 5 other Lions receivers right around the 50 yards or more mark. That's hard to Scooby-Doo and hard to stop, and I think a lot of it has to go with Dan Campbell's got a feel for this team. He's been around them, obviously, for 5 years. He knows offense a little bit different than most people. And you know what? Yesterday, man, that offense looked like it was humming as good as any offense the last several years across the league. All right, let's go to the next one, and that is 8 winners, 3 losers from the Detroit Lions win over the Washington Commanders. Story by John Whitaker of SB Nation. Were there really any losers yesterday for the Detroit Lions? I guess we'll have to see what they say. All right, first winner, Jameson Williams, Jay Powell, Jay Wow, Jay Beep Beep, whatever you want to say. We've been waiting for this all season. Was he just going to be, the decoy? Was it just, for whatever reason, him not being involved? The second half really saw Jameson Williams get involved and in a hurry. He was being used in a ton of different routes that prior to yesterday, he just simply wasn't asked to run. We went through all of preseason hearing more about how Jameson Williams was throwing a lot of flowers at John Morton. Man, he's allowing me to run different stuff in the route tree than Ben Johnson ever did. Ben Johnson kind of restricted me to this, that, and the other thing. And then the regular season hit. What did John Morton do? Kind of restricted Jameson Williams to the same routes that Ben Johnson had. And you know what? I get it. He was probably to a certain degree getting frustrated that he couldn't be more used. Yesterday, though, Jameson Williams took the cover off the ball, cover off the defense, ran, short ends, steep crossers, post patterns. I mean, anything in the playbook that was out there for him, he was running it, and you could see the effect he makes. Now defenses are going to have to really game plan for that going forward. It's not just running deep posts, fly patterns, streak patterns, whatever else. Jameson Williams is a complete wide receiver, and I thought he was pretty successful yesterday. Let me know your thoughts about him, if you would, please, in the comment section. All right, we do have a loser. John Morton, the play caller. And I think you probably, I don't want to throw shade at any coach, but you probably have to agree there were some differences in the tone of the Lions yesterday. And it wasn't just, the fact that we called plays. It's how we set up 1 or 2 plays early to set up 3 or 4 plays later, and then come back and set up 3 or 4 plays to set up 1 and 2 plays later. Calling plays is very much like playing chess. You're showing some things at times to set up other things. You're trying to see how the defense will respond to this formation, this setup, this pre-snap motion, and then use that against them later on. Why? You want to cause hesitation. I talk about it all the time on the show. If you can force a quarter of a second, let alone a half a second of hesitation out of somebody on offense or defense or whatever, you know what? You're probably going to win that snap, win that play, because anytime you can buy that half second, you're probably owning that player, that offensive player, that defensive player, whatever it is. John Morton may know offense, may be very good. Let's think about it. Look across his resume, and there's a whole lot of very good offensive minds that have employed this guy. We've also seen some normalities that, as far as an OC, he's been relegated at times. We did talk about in the post-game show, Ben Johnson wanted to hire John Morton and have him be his OC. I think we can all get that John Morton would not have actually been calling the plays for Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson would do that. But there's value there that maybe we don't understand about what he brings to the table. But across the NFL, whether it's Sean McVay or whoever else you want to list, everybody wants this guy. It's just maybe not for his in-game play calling. All right, winner, Brian Branch. He was here. He was there. He was everywhere on the field. He recorded 2 sacks, and who would have that on the bingo sheet before the game? But they did line him up. You go back and rewatch the tape. Brian Branch played both the strong side backer, the weak side backer, played both safety positions, did play some nickel back as well. And that's probably his biggest value, is that he's just a football player. He is everywhere on the field. He is a heat-seeking missile just waiting to be unleashed on the other team. He did give up one big bomb, but you know what? Sometimes players make plays, and that's what I think happened on the 40, whatever it was, yard pass completion early in the third quarter against them. Brian Branch, though, he adds another layer to this team, and I know some had speculated in the last month or so, Lions should move off from him, not re-sign him, trade him, whatever. I just don't see that happening. The chances of finding another Brian Branch readily in the draft are going to be pretty slim. And Brian Branch, while he had that moment in Kansas City, maybe that's all it was, is a moment in time. We'll have to wait and see if anything like that flares up again. But what we do know is, you know what? Kelvin Shepherd's finding a way to have a football player impact the game more and more, and I think Brian Branch is going to do just that. Another winner, Kalif Raymond, kind of left for dead as far as the offense goes prior to yesterday. If you didn't know he was even on the team anymore, you'd probably be forgiven for that. But yesterday, clearly Dan Campbell wanted to get him involved, and you saw him block. You seen him get out and catch passes. So, some punt returns, but whatever you want to say, his value to the team was reaffirmed yesterday. He's got wheels. He's got speed. He's got some strength to him. And I do think going forward, you're going to see him more involved, not just in gimmick plays, not just in punt returns, but as a wide receiver. And you know what? You put him out there with maybe a Gibbs at wide receiver, or even at running back, or at tight end. And then Jameson Williams, St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Man, you cannot cover everybody. When the Commanders played a lot of zone in the red zone, what did the Lions do at times with Kalif Raymond? Overload, tripped formation one side, let St. Brown go one direction, Jameson Williams go another direction, and then nobody left to guard Kalif. You got to pick your poisons, right? And Raymond made him pay. Jared Goff was easily a winner. He had great protection. First time in about a month that he hadn't got hit, sacked in a game, and he just tore him apart. He completed, 76% of his passes, rounding up slightly. Just complete game, perfect game as far as a quarterback goes. Yes, he did not complete every pass. Some of his passes were throwaways or throws in the dirt on a couple of screen passes, but Goff was in complete command of the offense, looked sharp, looked crisp, didn't get hit. He was on constant pressure against the Vikings. It probably affected his performance, but Jared Goff, whatever the situation is, he has been an MVP level quarterback this year. Winner Penei Sewell and Yodi on the offensive line. Go back and watch the tape. We talked about it, and I know some of you guys asked me to call out what I see from the offensive line. we've been talking about this, I feel like, since the start of the year in Green Bay. In Green Bay, if I had to go back and put a number on it, I would say nearly 90% of the line blocking schemes were zone blocking. And you could see where a lot of confusion set in because of that. You had free runners going after Montgomery in the backfield, Gibbs in the backfield after Goff. Lions did kind of move on from that slightly in the next couple of weeks. And then yesterday, I don't have a physical number to give out to you guys, but if I had to give you one, I would say about 95% of the time, the Lions just went man-to-man across the board. See that guy in front of you? Go get him. Be a heat-seeking missile. Destroy him. And that's what they did. The Lions' offensive line, in my opinion, had their best game of the season because they kept it simple for the line. There were a couple times they ran some schemes, some traps, some pulls or whatever, but they were very limited in nature. Because of that, you could see the aggression of the offensive line come out, and I thought everybody for the line played their best game of the season. Going forward, if I'm an idiot on YouTube and I can see we do better with that kind of blocking assignments and schemes, then I have to imagine Lions coaching staff is going to go into Philly and say, hey, just get the guy in front of you. Maybe we'll double team a few people here and there, but keep it simple. The Lions offensive line, we've all been having questions about it throughout the year because it has not looked the same. To a certain degree, we all just assume, hey, Frank Ragnow's not here anymore. Kevin Zeitler is not here anymore. Taylor Decker's beat up. Whatever you want to throw out there, that had to be the reasoning. And then MCDC kind of took control of the offense and said, maybe not so fast. Maybe these guys are good. We just got to have them play a little bit more to their strengths. It looks like they did. Loser, I would kind of disagree with this one, but it's I guess in the writer's opinion, Alim McNeill. You didn't hear his name much. You didn't hear Aiden Hutchinson's name much. You didn't hear Derek Barnes' name much. But what we can say with Alim McNeill, there were a couple of times in the game where he did kind of get pushed out of position, did kind of give up a running lane, and then the Lions coaching staff did take him out and put Roy Lopez in there. Lopez, conversely, I thought he had his best game of the season. He was active in the backfield. He shedded anytime he was left one-on-one in blocking assignments. He got past that offensive lineman and got pressure on the running back. A couple times maybe he broke free to get light pressure on the quarterback, but you get it. McNeil still coming back from that injury, still coming back, kind of finding his football conditioning. I thought he played real well, but according to this writer, he had to pick out one person to be a loser, and you know what? There you go. All right, winner, Terrion Arnold. We did point it out earlier this week. Last week. I want to say it was like a Tuesday. In the NFL, since week 4, there's only been one or two cornerbacks that have done better than Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold, I thought at the start of yesterday, the first half, played phenomenally. Really can show that he is growing and ascending as far as an NFL cornerback. I'm not going to say he's going to be the best cornerback in Detroit, but you got to feel pretty good when he's out there. That also being said, we all get it. He had a bit of a concussion. They kept him out the second half, ruled him out. We'll have to find out and probably won't fully know until maybe today or Tuesday, I think at the latest, from MCDC, how they're going with things. Will he be able to play in Philly? I think a lot of Lions fans who were once not Terrion Arnold fans are now chomping the bit to get him back on the field. Loser, the last of the losers here. Washington Commanders defense. Let's just summarize this. Anything the Lions wanted to do, they did, and you had the Commanders defense so upset that they were starting fights with refs, they were starting fights with people in the stands, etc. Another winner, Jack Fox. He got paid to sit on the bench basically all day yesterday. And stop me, if anybody watching this show wants to be a punter for the Detroit Lions, hey, you can probably be as effective as Jack Fox was yesterday, because you know what? That guy, he was stealing money. Somebody said in the comment section yesterday, and I think they were right with it, because all he had to do is just sit there, drink his Mountain Dew, and hey, let the offense keep on going. All right, last the 5 headlines on. We're really going on too long with this. 6 takeaways from the Lions' dominant win over the Commanders, the New York Times. Story by Brandon Knapp. Hey, anytime I can get the New York Times talking about the Detroit Lions, I'm going to probably point it out. But we'll power through this real quick because a lot of this is repetitive to stuff we already said. Offensive line dominates Commanders' defense. I'm only pointing this out for one simple reason. The Commanders' front 4 is amongst the best in the league. Now, if you want to throw their front 7 out there, I won't say that as a totality they're top 10 in the league, but you could probably put them top 15, top half of the league. How about that? And the Lions offense shredded them. Anything they wanted to do, they could do. Third down success. We came into yesterday's game knowing the Lions were amongst the worst teams in the NFL at third down conversions. Not so fast yesterday. Was that just the play calling? Was it just a great day for us? We're going to have to wait and see another game or two before we can say, hey, that's been fixed. But the Lions have fixed that aspect of the game. This may be the most dangerous offense in the NFL. Lions got under the Commanders' skins. You guys already got that. I'm not going to repeat it. You've heard it enough. John Morton, move over for Dan Campbell. I think we all agree. If we keep getting what we saw yesterday, John Morton, keep giving ideas to Dan Campbell. Let Dan Campbell call the plays. Welcome back, J-Mo. Where have you been all season? Well, here's what we know. NFL teams, every defense we're going to see the back half of the season is now going to have to respect Jameson Williams for doing far more than just running deep shots. Gibbs comes closer to a career game. You know, Gibbs' performance yesterday, I don't know if we can say anything that hasn't already been said on this show or other shows. He finished the day with 15 carries for 142 yards, and that doesn't even include his receiving yards. He is the most dangerous back in the NFL, in my opinion. And that doesn't mean he's, the best back in the NFL. Just anytime he touches the ball, offense, in any capacity as a running back, tight end, wide receiver, he's going to cause problems for anybody wearing a uniform that isn't Detroit's. All right, all that done, settled away. Let's get on over to the main topic of the day. And hey, I think we all probably know what we're going to be talking about here. All right, main topic of the day. The Lions offense is back. It is video game numbers, and nobody in the NFL wants to play us right now. Yes, we can all say that maybe, to a certain degree, losing against the Minnesota Vikings may have actually been a plus. Because if it forced this kind of change out of the offensive line, out of the play calling, out of the player usage. I mean, think about it yesterday. Who wasn't an option on offense for the Lions? Tesla got out there, not for a ton, but about 15 snaps. And you could see how he was changing the defense. How about Khalif Raymond? We already talked about him. And yes, he was a part of that offense in a way we have not seen at all this year. St. Brown, if you fell asleep and forgot he was even in the game, you would be remiss from that because everybody else was so involved as well. That includes Laporta, obviously Jameson Williams, and Gibbs we already talked about, Dave Montgomery also. But the Lions showed off a totality of weapons and just an egregious amount of riches for the offensive side of the ball that most of us haven't seen. Thankfully, nothing happened to the offensive line as far as new injuries, although I'm sure some of them are going to be a little beat up and a little sore. But the good part is everybody kept playing. What did you think of the offensive line now that MCDC appears to have simplified the blocking assignments? What did you think about all the different personnel groupings? MCDC clearly had a sleepless night last Sunday and said, hey, I got to change some things or we are going to risk imploding this season. Yesterday's one game. It's not a complete season. It is a one-off at this point. But now as we get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles, who play tonight, by the way, what do you think about them? If you're the Eagles, who do you focus on stopping? Most teams prior to yesterday came in clearly and say, hey, we're going to shift coverage towards, St. Brown and Sam Laporta. And then we're going to compress the line and try to force Gibbs to go out wide, so our linebackers can fill, and same with safeties, and try to bring them down that way. But the Lions' offensive line was the best it's been all season at opening up holes between the tackles, between the guards and center, and opening holes for Dave Montgomery. I guess I got to throw Vaki in there too, and then obviously Gibbs. But what did you think was the biggest difference yesterday from a schematic standpoint from what we saw from MCDC as the play caller and what we had seen prior with John Morton? What did you think about all the weapons? Who can you take away when you go into games now? If you leave Laporta open too much, he's going to roast you. We all know St. Brown, nobody gets open in the NFL better than him. Dave Montgomery, sometimes people sleep on him, but how many runs did we see him put up yesterday? 7 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards, etc. We get it. He's still got pop. Gibbs, if he gets any kind of room, if he's even to the defender, he's leaving that defender behind. And now Jameson Williams, he's not just a one-trick pony. Apparently, he actually is an NFL wide receiver. Yes, he had the one drop on Allen's pass, but you know what? Hey, it wasn't a perfect day after all. This Lions offense appears to be set up to be, in the second half of the season, the best offense we've seen since maybe Kurt Warner and the greatest show on turf. I'm trying to think of some other historical NFL offenses to put them up there against. I guess you'd say the 80s 49ers teams, maybe Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers during their run and shoot days, because whether they didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were dang hard to stop. When you look at the Lions right now, how would you try to stop them? How would you try to slow them down? It is one game, so we don't want to overreact and say, man, the Lions are going to score 50 points every game. But right now, is there a defense that can really shut them down if they play like they did yesterday? Is that a credit to the offensive line, Goff's performance, Gibbs' performance, MCDC's performance? And then here's the other question I got for the comment section. If you're Dan Campbell, what are you doing with John Morton right now? John Morton, it didn't really look like he was doing up anything in the booth, other than maybe placing orders for DoorDash for the players before they got done after the game. I'm saying that as a joke because I'm sure they do have a role with him. But John Morton, there's clearly a difference in play calling when MCDC's doing it versus when he's doing it. All right, because I went on so long with the 5 headlines now, I'm going to cut the main topic a little short. Let's get over to the comment section and see what you guys have to say. But I'm going to assume where a lot of us felt like it was doom and gloom after the Vikings, man, and then we didn't do anything at the trade deadline. How are you feeling right now as a Lions fan? Do you feel like, man, we got energy again? And yes, the Super Bowl is within reach again. It's going to be interesting to see what you guys have to say. All right, let me scroll to the top of the screen. This is going to take a second because I see we've got more than a few comments. And because of that, we've got over 500 comments. Wow, that's a lot of comments. I'm going to kind of power through and just get, I'm not going to read every comment. I'm just going to try to get everybody on. How about that? Michael D. Greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation points, one prime. Woo! And good to see you, my friend. JDC, morning all. And hopefully it's a great morning for you. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And man, after yesterday, it's a great time to be a Lions fan. Hey, more. Morning, Michael. JDC, morning at you, Henry. Cynthia, good morning, everybody. Exclamation point. Happy Victory Monday. Johnny L, good morning, folks, and good to see you. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. With a Philly win tonight, this weekend will have nearly went perfect for us. Yeah. Other than the Bears had the big comeback, yeah. Other than TA, I don't think we had any injuries. No, there were a couple people that got banged up a little bit in the game, but they seem to be okay. Johnny L, well, that makes that's more like it, and I concur. Attila the Hun. MCDC has to continue the offensive play calling and then figure out in the off season 16 of 32 head coaches do it, and all of it at the top 5. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yes, he's going to have to make some adjustments clearly, when we get to the second half, or the off season, what he's going to do with the play calling, etc. Attila, I hope TA will be back Sunday. Me too, my friend. Detroit Matt, good morning. Duke Crew, Dan called one heck of a game. I knew the second I saw the glasses on the helmet business, it was so good. I am willing to pay the one-way ticket to get John Morton out of Detroit. I get it. Everybody wants to, poo-poo on John Morton. He's got some strengths. The only thing I'd say is play calling right now does not appear to be amongst those strengths. It'll be interesting to see going forward what he really does to the team, because let's face it, there are a lot of teams in the NFL that clearly wanted him to come over to their team. So could every NFL coach be wrong, or is it just not in his wheelhouse to call the plays? Silver Server, good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you. Miles, greetings, salutations. Lions pride. Yay, MCDC. Silver Server, what reports? Whole lot of reports about who's calling the plays in Detroit and what role they all have. James Allen, greetings, salutations. Dan and Duke Crew, back at you. Johnny L, really the only team I'm worried about are the Rams. The Rams are playing lights out, no doubt about it. One game at a time, though. We got to focus on Philly. Susan, how about our offensive line? I concur. Question mark. I thought they played great. They did. And again, I think they simplified the blocking assignments, and that made them all much more effective. We'll have to see, though, if somebody tries to, everybody's going to try to figure out a weakness with you and then use it against you. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach Dan and the Mighty Duke Crew. Happy Victory Monday! Exclamation point. Woo! And good to see you, my friend. Just greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. What does what is Morton's role with the team now? We'll have to find out, but my guess is, and that's all it is, he makes suggestions based on the defenses he's seeing down to MCDC. MCDC listens to that and says, all right, based on what you're seeing, other normalities on defense, I'm going to run this play or whatever. Hookadoo. Good morning, Duke Crew. Oh, yeah. J-Mo had a pretty good game for being Morton's decoy. Good thing MCDC was calling the plays. Exclamation point. I concur. Michael. Morning, Henry. Trim Reaper. I was impressed with the line keeping Goff upright as well, Susan. I think a lot of us were. Drake, the Rams are looking pretty legit. That D and O are nice. Yeah, they've done a good job drafting and then utilizing. Silver Server, Coach, I notice Lions play well and run the ball well when Yodi is in the lineup. Coincidence? Question mark. Or is he a good player after all? He is a good player. He started, I want to say 1 or 2 games last year. I thought he did a great job. I get why they wanted a Mahogany out there, but now because of the situation, Yodi's got a chance, and you know what? You give someone a chance, let's hope they take advantage of it. Anymore, on Victory Monday, all is right with the world. Keep on smiling. I like the way you're thinking. James, I'm in my happy dance. Dan Campbell calling plays. I saw some interviews after the game that some offense see a big difference in play calling between Dan Campbell and John Martin. Yeah, I would agree with that. There was a noticeable difference. But again, whether it's you, James, or David Bing, or Xavier, or Henry Moore, whoever calls the plays, we all have normalities. We all have tendencies. And you know what? Right now, MCDC's tendencies are probably winning over Johnny Morton's. Xavier, greetings, salutations, Coach Dan and Duke. Hope everyone has a blessed day with an exclamation point. Back at you. David Bing, when we win next week, everyone will be back on the bandwagon for this team. You're not wrong there. I think we can do it. Yes, we can indeed. Henry Moore, great. Good morning, Michael. Johnny L, I'm still numb from that one. Hey, we'll take that. Cynthia, it was really admirable of MCDC to handle the play calling situation as carefully as he did. Not throwing shade at Morton, but rather class showed out a lot of character, as did Goff in the postgame. Yeah, everybody spoke very well about John Morton, but again, have coaches, just like you would players, play to their strengths. Like I was referencing the offensive line. Offensive line clearly, in my opinion, plays better in man schemes than it does zone schemes. They just don't have that kind of personnel. And so with John Morton, have him coach to his strengths, not his weaknesses. Xavier, Lions got back there. Okay, they got our back. Voodoo, I got things to do this morning, so I'll be listening in. Duke Crew, have a great day, my friend. France, good job on the play-by-play calling last night. Coach, thanks for hosting the stream. No, thank you guys for all being a part of it. Thanks, Riley, for assisting. Hey, it's a totality effort of everybody being on the same page, pushing the team forward, and that the team would be the Duke Crew. Silver Server, did anyone notice Laporta? Question mark. He caught a couple of passes, Goff through low and behind him. Exclamation mark. Man, he got them hands with his fingers. Third downs as well. He is amazing. Yeah, he's a very good tight end. And I get, we mostly got him because we traded TJ Hockenson. Here's my question, you guys. You got a cheaper contract with Laporta for a few years at least, right? But did you get better or worse or stay the same than getting rid of TJ Hockenson? Let me know your thoughts. James, I saw in some interviews that some offensive players were very happy with both the win and the play calling. Could be accurate. Johnny L, be right back. Going to make my bladder gladder. All right. The Trim Reaper, I like MCDC and glasses. It's a different look for him. Jess, Duke Crew. Dan Campbell, tried to talk nice and respectful towards Morton, but it's clear John Morton just isn't a play caller. No feel for it. It could be accurate. Yeah, just not his strength. Xavier, Lions got their offense back, which was awesome. Exclamation point. It was awesome. How about that? Silver Server Cynthia was calling for a great second half by JMO. What a lucky, good charm she has been. No, she did a great job, and you're spot on with that. JDC, Dre Force rocks, and he rolled for 300 some odd yards. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Morton may be a good coach, but a bad in-game play caller. Simple as that. Yeah, I'll go with that, and well said. Coach Rock, good morning. All looking outside, and everything is covered with snow. Woo! Good jogging weather. You go enjoy it, my friend. Henry, Cynthia, he's the best coach we have ever had in my lifetime. It could be some evidence of that. Trim Reaper, today. We have not seen him since the Tampa Bay pregame show. Cynthia, Johnny L, TMI, laughing out loud. Alec, good morning, Coach Dan! Exclamation point. It was absolutely the right move by Campbell to take over the play calling! Exclamation point. Way too much talent on that offense to have looked that out of sync. Morton will be gone after this year. My opinion, you're probably spot on and right. Cynthia, Henry, he is the real deal. I'm sorry, glad he's on our side. I'm glad he's on our side indeed. So long. I'm starting to believe in Arnold more. Hope he is okay for next week. Yeah, I don't remember him really getting concussed. So maybe it was something I guess I just missed. But if you guys saw the play, let me know. But I just don't remember that big of a hit. But something obviously happened. Silver Server, we didn't know what was cooking on Friday listening to Campbell, but we knew it was something. The new play caller was cooking on the pot. There you go. Hassani Madley. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew team. A thumbs up and good afternoon to you too, my friend. Jim, do we have an injury report? That is, yeah, we'll probably get one later today during his presser. Trim Reaper, good morning, Mr. Hassanin. Cynthia, Henry, so glad. JK, this game was literally Dan Campbell's Hancock signature. There we go. Anywhere, good morning, Stephanie. Glad to see you survived your first snow yesterday. True with that. Johnny L, I'm back. Hey, welcome back. Coach Rock, that's true, Stephanie. MCDC make it look so easy. Had everyone involved look like a well-oiled machine. Yeah, again, not to beat the dead horse, but everybody has strengths. Have players play to the strengths, coaches coach their strengths, etc., etc. Trum Reaper, well, Johnny L, I didn't think you had it in you. Well, find out. Silver Server, Stephanie Water, right? But when you are an OC, it's a bit of a problem. Could be true. The Trim Reaper, I'm your Huckleberry. Good movie. Coach Rock, good morning, Hassanin. There you go. Johnny L, Trim Reaper, laughing out loud. Cynthia, Silver Server, huh? Thank you. Trim Reaper is smiling. JDC, woo, coffee in, woo, coffee out. That might be very, very true. Anymore, good morning, Hassanin Manley. Silver Server, Coach, did you see that last pass that J-Mo dropped? He was thinking about running. Yes, correct, before he had it. That's why it slipped through his hands. Yeah, good call there. He had it. He had some room. He also knew he had some defenders, I think linebackers in the vicinity, so he was probably going to take a hit if he did catch it. James, Johnny L, Silver Server, good morning. Coach Rock, after another, woo, coffee, Johnny, and bring the grit. Hassan Manley, good morning. Cynthia, Silver Server, Johnny L, Hookadoo, Coach Rock, wishing you all a very good day. How about that? And back at you. Johnny L, here I am. Sounds like a song. The Trim Reaper, Waymo, J-Mo, and Gibbs were outstanding in your opinion. It's a good opinion. James, I want to hit that button, hit the subscribe button, hit all the buttons, and thank you for that, James. Coach Rock, can't wait to hear Coach Dan and the rest of the story. There you go. Hey, that's a throwback. Johnny L, great morning to you, Mr. Madley. Silver Servant. Cynthia, I was complaining about how such a great athlete, a gazelle amongst men, J-Mo that is, was just running down the field and blocking. You said perhaps he would have a great second half, and he had one heck of a half. Marcus, let's go Lions! Exclamation point. When the front office, head coach, and fans are on alignment, everybody wins. Hey, I like the way you're thinking. Detroit, Matt, second week in a row with a blocked field goal. Hope they can clean this up heading into Philly. No, you're not wrong, Matt. The special teams need some adjustments. Kickoff coverage, I should say. And then, yes, the field extra point coverage or blocking assignments. Sir, Hassan Manley, good old day, sir. Exclamation point, pray you have a good day. There you go. The Trim Reaper. Dan Adamas was spot on as usual. That must be the new crystal ball. Johnny O, we didn't even have to punt. No, we didn't, man. Talk about Jack Fox, man. The greatest job in the NFL most days. Rock, let's see. True, Matt. Detroit, Matt, they need to clean up special teams all the way around. I agree with that. Miles Mark, good point. Detroit, Matt. Wayne, everyone got a bye. I am. All right. Let's see. Cynthia, good morning, Mr. Hassani. Exclamation. What a game, huh? Woo! Love our Lions. You have to love the Lions. So you, Donnie Burr, the infamous one. We got to get Terrion Arnold to stay healthy for a whole game. Jeesh! Exclamation point. Now out with concussion. Yeah, and I guess I just didn't catch it when it happened. Sir, James Allen, good morning, sir. Marcus, shout out to the O-line, as we should. Exclamation point. They were awesome yesterday. Best game of the season, easily. Xavier, they bounced back like they should have. Exclamation point. Now I hope they upset the Eagles next week. Yes, but I'm rooting for the Eagles tonight. J.K. Morton was right on one. It's on the head coach. Yes, indeed. Wayne, A.A. Gibbs goes, the Lions go. As Gibbs goes, how about the Lions go? A heck of a key. He is one heck of a key. He gets the motor humming, doesn't he? Let's see. Miles Marga, Yodi was good, but center gritting down on the line. Yay. The entire line played great, didn't they, Miles Marga? James, the Dan O'Donnell score was off by 1 point, but boy, oh boy, he was darn near perfect. Hey, I guess that blocked extra point, right, is what killed it. Number, the old line has to show up this week. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Philly on the table. Yeah, they're going to have to Scooby-Doo for that one. Steve Rogers, our D got pushed around a bit, but some of that is, the RPO. Washington runs a very unique system, and I think that's part of the reasoning behind it. Coach Rock, that's right, Don Burr, put a concussion pad on his helmet and borrow some bubble wrap from Davenport. Maybe that's an idea. Moodscar Blade, good morning, Duke Crew, starting lineup, exclamation point, happy Victory Monday, and back at you, my friend. Pat, Victory Mondays feels nice, yes, they do. Cynthia, Silver Server, I got you, exclamation point, that was kind of you to say, thank you, it was kind. Queen Mary, good morning, Duke Crew, happy Monday, we got the win, and it looks like our coach is becoming the OC, yes, indeed. Jordan Reaper, TA was sticky as goat. I think he's played pretty dang well. It doesn't mean he can't play better, but he's improving. Don Burr, Rock laughing out loud. Sounds like a plan. Marcus, Dan Damas, What are today's lottery numbers? We'll have to see what he says. Donbert T is playing way better than he just has to stay healthy. Yes, correct. You got to stay healthy. James Allen, what do you got? Donbert, isn't Jalen Carter still out with an injury? That I don't know offhand. Ron, great salutations, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Back at you, Ron. How you doing? Jennifer, good morning, Lions fans. Coach Rock, hope Philly wins tonight and gets beat up doing it with a short week. Yes, indeed. I like the way you're thinking. Any more? Good morning, Jennifer. Bo Booth, I love the taste of a 40 burger in the morning. Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, who doesn't love a 40 burger? Maybe even a 50 burger. Reversion to me, the new OC is a keeper. We'll probably keep him around. Ron, I watched the game and I did not see Amon punch Darian Payne like Kinslaw's squad. Well, hopefully you saw the replay I showed for you. James, great morning to you, Jennifer. Miles Margaret, howdy, Jennifer. Jennifer, good morning, Henry. Tori Apple, good morning. Don Bird, James, I'm not sure. Coach Rock, good morning, Mary. Now the sun is shining. Woo! And I'll go with that. Chuck, greetings and salutations, Coach Dan, the winning Duke crew. Exclamation point. In Dan, we put our faith and it will make it happen. He knows the players and will get the most out of us using them. And the players responded. They responded pretty dang well. Johnny, I honestly see only one loss, the Rams, and the rest of the way. I hope you're wrong. I hope we just win out the rest of the way. That's just me being selfish, though. And see, 89, Dr. Funk, wonder what they're going to talk about today. Laughing out loud. I wonder. Brian, good morning, everyone. What a great game, great play calling, and the energy the players had was awesome. Yes, it was. Awesome all around. Jennifer, good morning. Miles Barger, Lone Wolf, Dan Campbell, play calling, question mark. Notice how the ball was spread around the offense. Yeah, 100%. Wasn't focused on one or two people. That was the totality of the offense. Central Scrutinizer, great salutations, Coach Duke crew. Woo! Victory Monday, MCDC, take control of the ship. He did, and he led it into the promised land. I see, Mally, I want Coach Campbell to come with his glasses last week. Yes, indeed. I hope he wears the glasses every week here forward. Don Burt, Johnny Kane, come on, man. Don't start the only one loss hype train stuff. We'll find out what happens. JK, Dan Campbell will be ready for Philly sandwich. That might be true. Let's see, Big D. Dan Campbell called the place yesterday. I think we all agree with that. Al, morning coach and Duke crew, exclamation point, back at you. Dr. Detroit. We were playing the Commanders. Yes, we were. Same old soup, just reheated. Good victory morning, Coach Dan and Duke crew. Same to you. Silver Server, Mary Smith. Good morning, Mary. See, I speak Spanish. There you go. Good that you speak Spanish, por favor. Brian, what do you got? Big test in Philly next week? Yes, you were right with that. Lions Talk Live fan. OCDC called a good game with some exclamation points. Jennifer, good morning to you. James Allen. Don Burr, y'all get too excited after win, get to making ridiculous predictions. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Part of being a fan, right? Dora K. We have the Eagles, the red hot Eagles. Shake my head. Yes, we do next week. Wood, John Morton and Chris Mahogany just lost their jobs yesterday, in your opinion. Might be accurate. We'll have to wait and see. Although Mahogany, yeah, he's not going to be back for probably at least 6 to 7 weeks. Johnny O, Mother Mary in the house. That is accurate. John, of course, they look good. They played a garbage team. I'll take that. Better than losing to the garbage team, right? Byron Thomas, what do you got? Good morning, Dan and Duke. What a game. Both teams won yesterday, 44-22. Lions 100. Lions won 44-22. Pistons 111-108. Hey, way to sneak out that win for the Pistons. Let's see, Queen Mary. Good morning, everyone. I have to do this one thing. It's a lot of us up and down, ready for some football. Win with the Lions Talk Live family. Gotta love the Lions Talk Live family. I get it, Mary. Don Kong, Super Bowl or bust? Exclamation point. Dan is the best offensive coordinator in the world. Hey, at least for 1 week we can say that. Marcus, from MCDC to OCDC. Hey, there you go. Free for all. The goal line stop by Jack Campbell was reminiscent of Spielman's goal line stop on Emmitt Smith a few years ago. More than a few years ago, but yes, you're right. And man, showing awesome strength there, stopping a guy running full speed this way, and then just stopping him in the air and having him go the other way. Jack Campbell's a big dude. Let's see, J.K. John Morton, and if he's list, there might be. Cody, hey, Dan, I finally caught you live in the morning. Exclamation point. Thanks for the play-by-play. Anytime. I enjoy doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoy being a part of it. Nora K. Don Burr, what the heck do you think we were supposed to do after when they're doing the same exact stuff every other team does after one? I'll go with that. Henry Moore, Good victory morning, Mary. Jay, what do you got? Go Lions. Big Dan Campbell calling the plays for a huge offensive performance. It was a massive performance, wasn't it there, Jay? Dunbar, Philly isn't Washington. Beat Philly in Philly. That's a statement win. We'll take all the above. Reversion to the mean. Skipper filled in at several positions and did good. Yeah, I think he's played well this year. Golan did good. Yodi did good. The offensive line is still an issue, but the play calling worked around it. Yes, indeed. I think that's a good play calling. 9 drinks. Great morning, Duke Crew. And back at you, 9 drinks. I know it's late for you. Late in the morning because, it worked in late overnight. Byron Thomas, good morning. Dan Duke Crew, what a game. What a game. Both teams won. Yeah, got that one. GSS 67. Happy Lions win Monday, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. And back at you, Rowdy Mike. Thank God we won that one. Exclamation point. Nothing but wins here on out. I like the way you're thinking. Woo! And hopefully the weather is much better for you than it is here down in Florida. Egon, I wonder if it was a committee effort of sorts. Yeah, maybe. Purple Kid, there are those Lions we know and love. Exclamation point. Woo! Yes, it's good to see them back on the attack. All right, guys, we got 9 minutes left, and I got about an hour's worth of comments, so I'm going to get people on who haven't been on as much. The Central Scrutinizer, MC's DC, brought back the bread and butter. One funky, man, talking about somebody I haven't seen. It's amazing how when the offensive line does its job, everyone eats. And this fan base praises everything else. Hey, praise them all, man, because it's a total effort. Ziggy and friends, good morning, Captain Dan and the Duke Crew All-Stars. Back at you, my friend. How you doing? The 302 Kid. Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Dan Campbell did an excellent job calling plays. John Morton his days may be numbered. Go Lions. I like it indeed. Okay, Don Burr, if you're not a Lions fan, please get out. The Lions Talk Live fan, guess the Vikings caught the flu? Maybe they did. Maybe that's what slowed them down a little bit. 9 drinks, Don Burr is so right. Johnny L, come on now. John Meadows. Let's see, Coach Rock. G.I. going love that one, Coach. It happens, man. It happens. Looking for people that haven't been on here as much, like Professor Steele. What up, Duke Crew? Exclamation. I'm back on Boss Up Ball Out this morning. We'll be checking it out for sure. Christian, what do you got? Good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation. What a great bounce back win. Woo! I take that. James, happy victory Monday. Good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. And same to you, my friend. Day. Gibbs and Monty had 15 carries each, and Gibbs had exactly twice as many rushing yards, 142 to Monty's 71. Hey, how about that? Let's see, Queen Mary. Yes, welcome back, Professor Steele. Hope you had an awesome vacation. Yes, indeed. Well-deserved. Bo, oh boy, here we go. Might be some truth there. Jennifer, good morning, Professor Steele. I will catch your show after. I think we'll all be jumping on over there. Big D. Morning, Mr. Burr and friends. Hey, that's a good reference there. James Allen, good morning, Queen Mary. JDC, Bo Booth, you beat me to it. It happens, my friend. Sometimes somebody gets there first. Let's see, Kings, what do you got? 1973. They beat a subpar Washington team. Not too exciting. Next week, they will be the real test. Hopefully, MC DC is still calling the plays. I think he probably will be. That'd be my guess, at least. Been wrong before, though. Miles Meyer, Skipper lined up as wide receiver. Loved it. Hey, and he even kind of ran a little bit there, especially when somebody else caught the ball. He could try to get downfield to block, but good for Skipper, man. He is a versatile weapon. He is an offensive weapon. Reversion of the mean. Has anyone seen Jack Fox? Hopefully not, man. That's usually a good sign for us. Trim Reaper, MDI. We'll find out. Adora K. Washington was happy after they beat us last season, and we have over 20 injuries, but nobody's talking about that. You're not right. Everybody's silent on that. Pierce, the Trim Reaper, Morton did it. Might be accurate. Looking for more people. I haven't been on here as much. Jennifer, when did TA go out, and could that haymaker be part of what the exchange, the whole exchange? That I don't know. Bo Payne did it. He did do it. Cynthia, so Payne should get suspended from their next game as Branch did. We'll see what shakes out. That I won't even worry about since we don't play them again this year. From Kent, the Commanders had no answer for the Lions. Just an all-around great game. I agree, 100%. Take your good games where you get them. Moonscar Blade was a good game. We did what we were supposed to do versus backups and kicked out starters. Philly will be a different test. Hopefully we get a little more healthy. The good part is, hey, everybody feels good in Detroit now. Injury-wise, other than TA's concussion, I don't really think there were any. So it's as good as the setup going into Philly as I think you could probably ask for. All right, Pierce, Don Burr, laughing out loud. I missed that. JK, I don't think we need Davenport until postseason, in your opinion. Nothing wrong with that opinion. Looking for people that have been on. Miles Morton will may be an example of the Peter principle. but that can be overcome by some OJT. I'm not sure what that means, but somebody will probably allude that out to me. Leo, Coach, I really think Dan was lurking in your streams. I saw blitzing Branch, more JMO, more Monty, and more Gibbs and Monty. Hey, sometimes maybe I mess up and get something right. All right, Ken, attacking the middle of the field and using JMO to do it as well as Gibbs, St. Brown. 100% there. Well said there. JMO Lion King, thank God for Panay. My heart skipped a beat. Yeah, I think a lot of us were feeling the same way there. Southwest Morton is not that great. It's nothing to figure out. All of a sudden, JMO goes off the offense rolling, and bum costs us a huge game on Ben Johnson has the Bears rolling. He does. Ben Johnson is doing a good job there. Don Bird, Pierce, yeah, him and Dan are good friends. They are. Trim Reaper, laughing out loud. JMO, Miles Mark, me too. JMO Lion King. All right, looking for more people I haven't been on recently. Coach Rock, don't freak out about the Panay. Deserves a week of no practice. Let him heal up. Yeah, especially after hurting the shoulder the week before. Maybe that's what they'll do. Kurt Steele, I had a great vacation. Queen Mary, the 302 kid. I feel good about our chances in Philly. Exclamation point, go Lions. Hey, Lions get that win. We're all going to be feeling a certain way. Ziggy and friends, JMO had a great game yesterday. Phenomenal game. Good game. Let's see, Bo. The offensive line clearly played with a chip on their shoulders. Yes, they did. They probably got tired of hearing the noise. James, come on. Let's not throw shade at Johnny Moe. Let's keep it away. Kerry, I agree with you, Don Burt. If we could snag him, it would be a great move. It would be. Adora K, looks like Ben Johnson is good head coach so far. So far, indeed. Avery T, think Brad Holmes didn't make any moves during the trade deadline is because Holmes plans on trading up to get a quarterback that he really likes. We'll see what happens. I think Goff's going to be here for a while, but this means they can't drive somebody kind of develop him for the future. Steve, Johnny Moe designs all the plays. Maybe that's what he's good at. Haven't played to those strengths, right? Xavier, J-Mo played his butt off, and Gibbs did as well with an exclamation point. I can agree. Coach Rock, yes, Ben is. Dumber, Pierce, totally agree. D. Dunk, Lions are not trading up for a quarterback. We'll find out. Let's see, other people haven't been on as much. Pierce Goff is here at least the next 3 years. Contract too huge to get rid of until after 2028. We'll pay attention to that. Sir, Coach, your guest yesterday was great. Yeah, Riley does good work. I'm really blessed that him, Kurt Steele, Ant-Man, basically all the guests we get to come on, they're all just great at helping out. So, just a lot of good people putting good time and efforts. Dre Day, Jared Goff had a great game. The maestro of the offense, don't think he gets enough credit. Probably doesn't, man. People sleep on him a lot. Coach Rock, Coach, would you like to hear what Sarge has to say about all this? Would like to hear it. Well, see what we can get Sarge on. It's just tough with this new job. Ronald, good morning, Coach and Duke crew. Coach, I really like to know who was really calling the plays that gives the person a game ball. It was Dan Campbell. I don't think there's much doubt about it. Happy Podge, what do you got? Raymond showed up. It was good to see. Same with JMO. Can't help but wonder how much of it was Commanders and how much of it was the play caller. We'll find out as the season progresses and we see more and more evidence over time. Big Belly Lou, the Lions looked really good last night. Let's hope they can keep that up. Go Lions. I like it. Like it indeed, my friend. Looking for more people. I haven't been on as much. Dennis, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Go Lions. Exclamation point. Back at you. The Central Scrutinizer. Bates having to make some tackles is concerning still. I would agree with that. They got to fix that. Eddie's Fish, I would like to see the Lions on defense starting jamming the tight end so he does not get a free release. And when the tight end is in the three-point stance, knock him on the ground and line of scrimmage. We'll see if they do that. Michael, BB and Lopez with sacks. Yes, indeed. Xavier, they played as a team yesterday. They really did, didn't they? Famous RW. Team is still missing something. The lack of pressure is very concerning. If Washington can neutralize our defensive line, imagine what better teams can do. Maybe, but the Washington Commanders do have some strengths. Let's see, 1970, love the Trump, all right, Trump dance with the sun gone. J.K. Rotisserie, laughing out loud. Trim Reaper, Jake Bates is the best tackler since Joe Montana. That might be accurate. Let's see, Kerry. Bates' attempted to tackle was just showing how much he wants his job. He wants his job, no doubt about it. J.K. Jack Fox was chillaxing. He was. Egon, Jack Fox got a couple game balls last year. He is definitely good when needed. Yes, when needed, he fills in. Riley, happy Victory Monday. Duke Crew, back at you, and thanks for helping on out. Jim Lion King. Commanders' offensive line did a nice job for Mariota and got rid of the ball quickly. Yeah, they had a game plan to try to neutralize the pass rush for sure, or the blitzing, etc. Big D, get off my boy Reaper, dude. Laughing out loud. Chuck, Can Dan coach special teams next week? They were my one negative for the week. Yes, they got to fix I think we all agree, the special teams. No doubt about that. Michael, yeah, Big D, you didn't see the reference I made. Who's dumb now? It happens. Let's see. Other people haven't been on here as much. Big D laughing out loud. Gary Rock, what team isn't injured now? That is true. At this point in the NFL season, everybody's got some injuries. Coach Rock, it's true, Gary, but there's people saying we won because they were beat up. Hey, it happens. People say the same thing when we lose, right? That we lost because we're beat up. Becky didn't need DC as OC. He has enough to do. We'll find out if that's what he chooses to do. Jennifer, Tesla is not looking too bad either. No, I think he's doing okay. Big D, Minnesota in the 90s and 2000s. That's a good call out there. Great Lakes, it was a perfect mixture yesterday, being able to bring the defensive guessing, keep the defense guessing. Is the best recipe for success you can have? It might be accurate. Big D with mass. I'll go with that. Jason, Rising special teams getting more attention after being beginning of the season. They were great. Then seemed to just fall off the last few weeks. Ended up putting points off the board for the team. Yeah, I agree with you. Special teams needs to be addressed, and I'm guessing they're trying to work on it. Egon, the Pats when they had Moss. Ooh, that was a good offense too. Dave the D, what do you got? Fire him. We'll see if they do. Bo, Patriots had a pretty good offense until the Giants in the Super Bowl. Yes, indeed. And then it kind of got shut down a little bit. Why? The defense, the front line, I can say for the Giants, got after the quarterback. Lionel, happy victory Monday. Coach and Duke Crew worldwide. Exclamation point. Tardy to the party, but present. Lightning and Thundercats. Ho! I'll take that. Detroit D. Take anyone who can help at this point. A lot of football left to play. Yes, there is. Marcus demote Morton to offensive consultant. That could be what he effectively is at this point. All right, just a couple more, and then I got to get out of here. We're already into overtime. George, offensive line looked better. Needed to be great next week. Yes, like Dan's play calling. I'll go with that. Johnny Gas Sports, good morning. Dan and Duke Cruz, and back at you. Trim Reaper, good morning. Johnny Gas. Craig, it was nice to see the Lions give Jameson Williams the ball. Campbell utilized the speed that the Lions have with Gibbs, Jamo, and Brown. Go Lions and the Duke Crew. I like the way you're thinking with some exclamation points. Pat, I knew MCDC was a good offensive coach, just one heck of a play call. He does appear to be. Michael, MCDC in the wild card, everyone wants to their hand. All right, he's the wild card for sure. Ray Laporta is a goat at the tight end position. My favorite player, and he's a baller. He's a baller shot caller. Scrabble board, there you go. Don Kong, when do we get a bid back? I would think fairly soon. No haters. Campbell had the better pulse on the team than Morton. He does have a better pulse, so I'll go with that. He did a great job. Amy, great insight to the illustrious coach and fantastic play caller, Dan, exclamation point. And of course, the ultra fabulous Duke Crew. Wonderful Lions win. Woo! Will MCDC call again this upcoming week? I'm suspecting, but I don't know. And surprised how involved Raymond was. Offense looked great. It did indeed. Samuel Soup just rated. Looked more like play callers by committee. MCDC having the final say. That could be accurate. Brian C. Jack Fox is awesome, but you only had 3 more punts than I did yesterday. All right, I'll go with that. Let's see. Baptiste, we need Waymo Jamo. We got him a little bit yesterday. Jason, remember a few years ago when everyone was yelling, fire Aaron Glenn, but Campbell stuck with him, and we had the best defense after that. Might be true. Here's Johnny 47. Lions offense was lit with some exclamation points. Too legit to quit. Bill, woo! The return of the crossing routes. Hey, we've been calling for that a long time. Chris Steele had to run out and pick up some breakfast. Hopefully it was good breakfast. Joe, Raymond was so wide open on so many of his catches. The forgotten man, he wasn't he, Joe? If he keeps getting touches and being that wide open, the opponents are going to have a tough time. I agree with that. Christian, what do you got? Huge game versus Philly. A W is ginormous and builds the mighty mojo. I'll go with that. Good Steele, yes, sir. Exclamation point. Lauren, good morning, all. MCDC calling the plays and showing Johnny Mo how it's done. Exclamation point. Go Lions, one pride worldwide. You got to have pride, right, Charles? Peyton and his Colts were pretty good, too. That is an accurate call there. Black Jared Jones, Dan Skipper lined up as a wide receiver. Crazy grit, baby. I'm down with that. Yeah, and it worked out well. Let's see. All right, yeah, we're not going there. Let's see. Gary, give Skipper some wind sprints for the next week. Maybe needs them. D-Trace, what do you got? Jamal Charles ran a 4.41 40-yard dash. Gibbs is way faster than that. You could be accurate there. Dolo, where is Tesla? Hey, he's out there somewhere. Drew, what do you got? Good morning, Coach Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point, go Lions. Mark, happy Monday, Veterans Day, everybody. Well said, my friend. D-Trace, Ken Law claims that St. Brown hit Payne first. There's got to be video of it because there's video of everything. So we'll wait and see over time. Michael, good morning, Coach Dan. Derek, Veterans Day is tomorrow. Today is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Yeah, I thought that was right, but I wasn't 100% sure. All right, guys, I'm going to go and get on out of here. Sorry I couldn't get to all the comments. I did the best I could to power through. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as soon as possible. Before you leave, if you would be so kind, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Root against the Green Bay Packers tonight, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.